Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Welcome to the second episode of Let's Do Things Different. Let that shall we? Let's do things different, shall we? That is the name of the podcast. It is a podcast aimed at talking about technology, information technology, DevOps, software development. But most importantly, how is technology affecting the town you live in, the small town that you live in, the small town I live in, which is Palmyra, Missouri, and also to talk about some topics regarding technology that are out there in the forefront of people's uh, thoughts. So today I have a couple of them. Um, let's dive right in. The first one, let's talk about what is being called the expert beginner. It's a interesting name for it, but it's actually very true if you think about it. So what is the? I got some notes here for you. So what is an expert beginner? An expert beginner is someone who can achieve. This is, by the way, from Medium magazine. Who can achieve a high level of functionality in a skill without grasping its fundamentals or having a good understanding in the topic. It, this thing hits home. It's incredible how much it hit home because at Tech Forward, one of the things that when we begin classes next month is we don't want to teach you. I can teach you all you want to about using APIs and how to create them, but if you don't know the inner workings of an API, if you don't know what makes them tick, if you don't know the what everything that's behind it, I think quite honestly that it's it's not a good thing. I think you should know everything that goes behind writing something, right? So a couple of the examples that they use at the on this Medium article is building APIs without understanding HTTP protocols, creating functional web apps without knowing the difference between front end and back end processing. What do you think? I mean, let's think about this for a second, okay? Are you a better developer because you understand how the back end and back end work, even though you may not do much work front end, back end specifically, or does it really matter? I think it does. I honestly believe that if you are a front end developer, you should have an understanding of how the backend works, and vice versa. If you're a backend developer, you should have an understanding of how the front end works. Okay, and I in my career I made a big mistake, and it's related to this. The mistake was this: I am very good at writing SQL queries, database queries. I can I can tell you how to speed them up. I can look at them. I can rewrite them in ways that are way faster than they were before. But where I failed was not knowing enough about the database itself and what can be done at the database level to even to increase the speed of a query even more, right? If I would have had that knowledge way back when, or at least began to understand that knowledge way back when, I think I would have been an even better seek a database developer. It is the problem that we have today, right? AI is all over the place. That's a topic for another podcast. But it is this understanding that all you need to know is what do I need to do to make money, and I get it. Okay, there are tools out there, AI being, of course, the biggest one, that can help you do your job faster. But do you even understand what you're doing? Do you understand what AI is actually doing for you? Copilot is a good example of this, right? It If you're not willing to at least have an understanding of what lies beneath, does Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a bad thing. I personally believe it's a bad thing. We'd love to hear from you as regards to this. It's we and I had a discussion about this with someone a few weeks ago, um, and it went something like this. We're teaching here at Tech Forward. We're going to be teaching uh, database administration, basic database administration, SQL writing, query writing, and of course, we want to really dive into software development, JavaScript, React, etc. Right? Python. So we use Squarespace for our website and for other websites that we have done. Squarespace has templates, just like any other web host out there. They have templates, and you can use templates, and it's all drag and drop, and you can do X, Y, and Z, and there's some code that you can use underneath. But here's the thing: are you better off if you're a business, if you're an individual who wants to create websites? I guess it really comes down to what's important to you, right? Because we believe that yes, you can use Squarespace to create your websites. You can use templates, but do you know how to create a template? Let's go even farther than that, more far down the rabbit hole, which is, do you even know how to create a template from scratch? Now, are you going to use that knowledge in Squarespace? Probably not. Okay. But if you have an understanding of how the engine works, I believe you can do a better job using the engine. Okay. So is it better for me to teach you how to use Squarespace as a developer, as a software developer, or is it better for me to teach you how Squarespace works? Okay. It may not be a perfect example, and I grant you that. So when we talk about an expert beginner, really, are you an expert because you know how to use Squarespace? Are you? I mean, it might be a bad example, but are you really an expert if you know how to use the tools? That makes you. Some would say that makes you smart because you figure out that you don't have to write, you don't have to learn anything. All you have to do is just learn how to use these tools, and voila, you have what you need. Or is it better for you to know how things work? We'd love to hear about that. We'd love to hear from you about that. All right. The second topic that I want to talk about is uh, subscription model, and we're really jumping around here, people. But hear me out with this. I had a conversation with my brother-in-law. It's been a while. I think at his house in Texas. A retired Army sergeant. Wait, was he a sergeant? I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check that. But he's retired Army, 24 years in the Army. Great guy. But he made a comment. We're watching TV. We were at his house in Texas. We're watching TV, and whether it's Netflix, whether it's uh, Prime, everything is a subscription. Everything is a subscription, right? But he's playing a game, a computer game. And we guys talking about subscriptions. And he made a comment, God, I miss the days when you own something. Of course, he was talking about applications. Remember the days when you used to have to buy, say, Microsoft Word, and it cost you $200 or $300 or whatever the number was, but you owned it, which means that after that first year of of a support or whatever, even if you didn't re-opt for the next year, your Microsoft Word still worked. Now everything, just about everything, is a subscription. If you don't pay the subscription, then whatever app you have stops working. It may not stop working in some cases, but you lose any updates. You cannot get updates. You cannot do X and C and etc. So my personal belief is you should own what you buy. It is better for the business selling it to you to do subscriptions, but I don't believe it's better for you. My argument, quite honestly, it is very simple. I just, how do I say this? I feel that if you're gonna charge me $30 a month or 150 a year or whatever the amount is, I am giving you permission to basically steal from me, right? But if I buy your product for $300, usually more expensive than a subscription model, and that and I don't pay you another dime, I can use what I have for as long as I want to, right? Sure, at some point it will become obsolete, but it's mine. I own it. If I stop using it, I stop using it. If I want to keep using it until I run it into the ground, then that's exactly what I'm going to use. But who are you to tell me that the only way I can use your product is if I continue to pay a subscription? Right now, we use Adobe products, and on the surface, on the if you do the math, it makes perfect sense, right? I'm paying, I don't know, 60, $70 a month, and I have access to all of them. If I were to shell out the money to actually buy all these products, we're talking thousands. But I'll be honest with you, if I become an expert at a product, I should be able to use that product as often as I want to once I pay that one-time fee. You don't have that with a subscription. I'm not sure this actually makes sense to most of you, but I think at the end of the day, it may very well be a personal thing. But from a business standpoint, it makes absolute sense to use subscription model. It is that's where the money is, right? Take into consideration as well that most people will let a subscription continue to run for X number of weeks, months before they realize that it's even we haven't used it in so long, right? That all plays into the subscription model. I don't like it. I personally don't like it, and I really would love to hear your thoughts on that. Um, all right, so enough of that one. All that being said, I want to keep you now. Let's do some news as to not news, but let me give you some updates on what's going on with Tech Forward. In November 1st, I believe it is 2025. I want to let you know that we will be having a first annual Black and Green Gala. It will be a formal event. No jeans, suit, tie, black, green combination thereof. To benefit the veterans home or the veterans actually, and part of it obviously cover costs and Tech Forward. It's I'm very excited about this. It's going to be held at the oh my god, Bowling Green. No wait, I have to remember this. It's being held in Palmyra, Missouri, location that escapes my mind at the moment. But we'll bring this back up. But anyway, we have the black and green gala next year. I'm going to have to cut this section. I may have to cut this section. We also have, and this one I'm pretty excited about, the first ever pickleball tournament. So it's going to be called the World Cup of Pickleball, held here in Palmyra. We're going to have groups. It's going to be handled literally like the World Cup. If you're not familiar with the World Cup of soccer, you have groups that you do a round robin between the groups, and then the winners move on to a one and done tournament above that. More details to follow on that. And then lastly, Um, our classes begin in January. Official announcements will come after on January 2nd. And you'll hear more about that as time goes on. We hope to see you. We hope to have you talk to us. Call me. On screen, you'll see how to contact me. You can also comment on this. Please let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion on what's going on out there in technology. I love to hear what you think about the two things that we talked about: the expert beginner and the subscription model. Um, I, I feel strongly about both of those, but as always, as my wife always says, I tend to be a little bit wrong, but feel I'm right. So until we meet again. And by the way, I hope we're hoping that no, it won't be next week, but the episode of January 9th, we will have our first guest, if not two, if not three. And as soon as I can confirm, I will update and let you know. But until we meet again, I wish you all a happy New Year. I really hope that whatever you have going on will be better next year. And put your foot down, stop doing the bad things, start doing the good things, and you'll be surprised how much better the world gets. Until we meet again, this is your host, Luis, and we'll see you next year.